Hi everyone, welcome to Social Studies today. We are continuing to talk about one of our 5 themes of geography today, which is movement. We are going to dig a little deeper into what movement may look like and what can be included in movement. So hopefully you have already completed your readings for today, which one was settlement. This talks about why people move to different locations and building a settlement. A settlement is similar to a small town, a new area, a community where people are coming in and settling there. Hopefully you also read about different migration patterns. Migration patterns and settlement go hand in hand because when you're creating a settlement, typically people choose settlements based on their resources, their location, and these patterns normally show us what settlements are good, what areas might we want to stay away from. So if we're looking at our population map here, you can see if I can zoom in a little bit. If we're looking at our population map here, we always want to take a look at our title first when we're looking at our maps. And my title says Population Density Map of the World 2015. So that tells me this map is going to show me how many people live in a certain area. And this was based in 2015. So it might have changed a little bit, but for the most part, it's going to be very similar. Then I also want to look at my legend or my map key down here. And this is telling me how many people I will have in an area. So for example, my white is going to be my lowest amount of people all the way up to my purple, which is going to be the most amount of people. So for example, this is people per square mile, so less than 2 people per square mile. And this would be, the red right here would be 101 to 500 people per square mile, and then purple would be greater than 500 people per square mile. So if you're looking at your map here, do you notice any patterns that we see on this map? If you want to pause the video to take some more time to look at it, go ahead and do that. There's a couple patterns that we might notice on our map here. And if I'm looking, the first pattern I notice is near the north, there's a lot of gray, meaning that not a lot of people live up here. Why do you think a lot of people might not live in the northern part of the world? Well, up here it's going to be a very cold climate. You're going to have a lot of snow, a lot of low temperatures, making it hard to live, so a lot of people choose to not live in that area. Other patterns that I'm seeing here, a lot of our reds and our purples and even our oranges are found along the sides of these continents. So for example, if I zoom in here, this is the South America continent. And in this continent, we see some grays in the middle, but along the outside here is where we see the most of that population. That means there's more people living on the outside than on the inside. If I come over here as well, I'm noticing the same thing. Lots of people along the sides of our oceans here, and not as much in our middle section. There's more grays and greens in here. Why do you think that might be? Why do you think there is more people along the water than inside of these continents? Well, one great reason would be that water, especially in times where we had less technology and less transportation, water was our way to move around. If there wasn't an airplane, there weren't trains, we had boats though. So boats were the way that we were able to get around from different continents. So people typically settled along the water because it was closer to where their boats were, and then also it provided a great source of food. They could hunt there, they could have water there, so lots of great reasons why they might have settled along the water there. All right, so your next job today is going to be completing this assignment called Settlement and Migration Patterns, and I'm going to show you what your assignment looks like first, and then we'll talk about it a little more. So your assignment is going to be called Building a Settlement, and you are going to get the chance to design your own settlement and decide where you want it to be, what kind of weather you want it to have, what resources you want available. But before we get into that, I want to get you guys thinking of what might a good settlement be. So let's take a look at some pictures here. So a long time ago, we had our continents over here that were taking voyages to North America where we live, that's Michigan right there, in order to start these new settlements. So for example, we have a boat coming from Europe. It's traveling all the way right over to here on the East Coast. And the first permanent settlement, so the first little town that we had settled in North America was called Jamestown. And if you notice right here, that's Jamestown. It's very tiny, right on the side of our oceans here. And we talked a little bit about why that might have been. Let's zoom in a little bit more here. So this is a zoomed in picture of Jamestown. You notice it right there. My question for you is, why do you think Europeans would have chosen Jamestown for their settlement? What would be the benefits of living here and making a town right here versus on another spot? What do you think? Go ahead and pause this video if you need more time. Well, for similar reasons that we talked about earlier, you can see that Jamestown is right on the coast of our ocean here, the Atlantic Ocean. And if we zoom in more, it's on the coast, but if you notice, it's a little further in on this river here. All right. They would have done that in order to protect themselves from large waves, big storms in the ocean. They had some land that was protecting their settlement here. All right, so that's one reason there. And they're also on very close distances to other rivers, which makes it easy to go from one place to another. Let's take a look at another picture here. This is a sample of possible settlements from the 1800s. So if you were somebody who was living in the 1800s, which spot do you think would be the best settlement and why? Where would you like to build a settlement? We have C, B, A, and D here. Which one do you think would be the best place to build a settlement? Be ready to defend your answer and pause the video if you need some more time. So if we're looking here, I see 4 possible answers on where we could build a settlement. There is one that stands out to me more, and I'm going to explain why that one would be my ideal location. So if I'm looking first at, let's look at C right here. C is on an island, so that would make it difficult to go from different places because it is on an island. The only way you could get from a different shoreline would be to get on a boat and take your boat over there. That would make things difficult. The benefit of living on sea would be you could protect yourself from somebody who is trying to attack you, maybe other Europeans that are coming in to try to take the land that you have settled on. The island would give you a sort of protection that way. However, living on sea would be challenging because you can't really grow your settlement there. It's going to not be able to grow larger than your island. So for that reason, I would not pick C. Way up at the top, D, it is right on the river. However, it's pretty far away from our larger ocean here. So I would probably not pick D. It would be probably my second choice, D would be. B is right near the ocean. It's by a river, but because it's right near the ocean, you have the chance of large waves and flooding and storms coming right up on your settlement. So I would not pick B. My choice would be A. I'm right near 2 river mouths, and I'm pretty close to the ocean, but I have this land in front of me to protect me from any large waves coming in from the ocean there. So A would be my best choice for a settlement. As times change, technology changes too. So, for example, we didn't always have railroads. We didn't always have airplanes. So, as we get this new technology in, it could change where we choose to make settlements. So take a look at this picture here and pick which one you think would be the best settlement for a new settlement if you were creating one. All right, so go ahead and pause the video if you need more time. I'm going to talk about C and B first. So C and B are right on the river, and yes, if this was the previous slide, that would be a great choice, but I'm not going to pick C or B because there's a better option, and that would be A. A is right along the river, and it's along our line here, which this is a railroad. That's what this line represents here. So I would have the ability to be transporting myself and any goods that I have on the river, but also on my railroad. So that's two awesome sources that I could move myself and other items along. D, great choice too. It's just on the railroad, but similar to C and B, that's only one way of transportation, where A is getting you two. All right, let's head back to your assignment for today. So you and your partner, or you may be doing this individually, are going to build a new settlement. Think about the reading. What do you need for your settlement to be successful? Answer the question below to plan your settlement. Draw a picture of your settlement showing the resources and what it might look like. So go ahead and let's look at these questions here. So where is your settlement? You're going to decide, is it near a river, a lake, or an ocean? Maybe it's not near any water source. Where is your settlement going to be? But think back to what we just talked about and the examples we gave for the best settlements. Go ahead and put your answer there. 2, is it a warm or cold climate? What kind of plants and animals live in your settlement? Remember, you're trying to create a settlement that is going to be good for you and others to grow and live in. So it would be ideal to put maybe some really great plants that could also provide some food, and some animals as well that could provide food. What other resources are available? So I will add this picture in, and you can take a look at resources that might be available that you want to pick. So resources we have here, we have animals, we have soil, minerals, rocks, forests, water, and oil. You're going to decide which types of resources are by your settlement that is going to help you guys survive and live in that area. And the next question, are there other physical features that make your land perfect for your settlement? So think back to when we were talking about one of our 5 themes of geography previously, when we talked about our physical characteristics of place. You are going to decide what physical characteristics your settlement has. Another picture here to help you out in picking what you might include for your physical characteristics. So we have lots of items here. Just pick 2 or 3 that you like for your settlement. There's rivers, waterfalls, mountains, hills, lakes, volcanoes, mountain, forest, ocean, iceberg, and desert. There are more if you can think of others. So you will decide what physical characteristics your perfect settlement has. And then lastly, you will draw your picture here of what your settlement looks like. Make sure that you are using color and different types of color for your picture here. Try to make it detailed. If you want to print out this paper instead, you are more than welcome to. So then you can create your picture with markers or crayons or colored pencils, what you have at home. But it's okay if you don't have that, you can do it right in Notability. All right, so again, this is your assignment today. You are creating a perfect settlement, something that you think would be a great place to live and grow a community in previously. So in the past we're looking at. All right, if you guys have any questions, reach out to your teachers and have a great day.